peace. I've been waiting to go to this next phase in the story of Moses. And we finished last time with Moses and Aaron coming to Pharaoh, warning him the plagues that afflicted them, and every time that they promised to send sons of Israel with Moses, when the punishment was taken away, they reneged on their promise. They broke their word and kept on doing that. And there was lots of back and forth, which I read to you last time. So now is the point where God will inspire Moses to leave behind the forces of Pharaoh and his chiefs and travel with his servants to the sea and go through the sea to the other side while they will be drowned. So, the first example I will show you is in chapter 10, where Moses, I read this part to you before, I'm going to read it again, where Moses curses Pharaoh and then asks God to not let them believe till they see the punishment, the grievous, yeah. So we'll go with this first. So here Moses said, as last time we read about it, and said Moses, our Lord, surely you brought Pharaoh and his chiefs beauty and wealth in the life of the world. Our Lord, to their strainess over your path. Our Lord, blot over their wealth and severe over their hearts, so not they believe till they see the punishment, the grievous. So God responds, have I answered both your calling? So both be constant, and don't you both follow path of those not they know. And we moved with sons of Israel the sea, but followed them Pharaoh and his forces, transgressing and opposing, till when covered him the drowning, he said, I believe, surely he, no God except the one believe with him sons of Israel, and I from the Muslims. And God responds at this point, now, and had you disobeyed before, and you were from the warring. But the day we will surely save you with your body, to your being, to those behind you, a sign, and surely most from the mankind over our signs to be oblivious. And already we established sons of Israel, establishing truthful, and we sustained them from the goods, but not they deferred till came to them the knowledge. Surely your Lord, he will decide between them, day of the standing, in what they are in it, they're deferring. So this is a big overview of what happened. We'll go into a little more detail in later chapters. So, he ran after him. He was drowned, and while drowning, now he knows the end is here. He believes with God, and God's response is this. You should understand this will be the response to every soul that dies rejecting God, disobeying his messengers, partnering and making equal with God. This will be the answer to those. Each one of them will get this answer. And then, of course, for Pharaoh, he said, we will save you in your body. It's a sign. So now you see all these mummies and all the stories about mummification and all that stuff. I don't know exactly what this means, but the signs are there that used to make their bodies all mummified for God knows what reason. I mean, till this day, I don't understand why they did it, and the explanations people give, I don't understand. But I mean, imagine yourself being in your body while the body is dead, the soul remains. I mean, that's one of the things I think about, and it's pretty horrifying. I mean, even if we lose one faculty like our sight or our hearing or our mental capacity, how do we feel? We know we're in there, but we can't access these abilities. So, imagine if your body is dead, but your soul remains in your body. I don't know how that works. I can't tell you. I haven't experienced it, but that's one of the thoughts that goes through my mind when I read this, and it's quite horrifying. Yeah. The amount of torture that can be inflicted is unimaginable when God gets on the wrong side of your desires. Yeah. And then, of course, they were settled after that, truthful. They won, obviously. The sons of Israel that left with Moses, followed him, they were victorious. God had said that before, so it's going to be. It's not like, whatever they did, and they did a lot of stupidities even after God saved them and took them through the sea, and this sea, I believe, is the Red Sea. I don't see any other possibility but it being passing through the Red Sea near the Suez Canal or something like that. I don't see it being the Nile as some people refer to it, but who knows? It could be the Nile as well, could be the Red Sea. But the Quran talks of a sea, and the sea is not really a river, is not a sea. So I believe it was the Red Sea. In any case, it does not matter. The reality is God parted the sea with the staff of Moses, and he saved him and the sons of Israel that left with him and destroyed the forces of Pharaoh, and they all drowned. Now, if anybody has any ability, they can go and dig up these places. I mean, there are not too many places where you need to go and check out where these remnants would be. But no, we don't want to do that because it might actually prove the books of God, right? I mean, that would be totally against the flow of events on the earth today. So now let's go to the next place where this is mentioned, and it's going to be in chapter 17, 101. I actually read this out to you guys already, but I will say this again, that Moses came and he warned them. And already we brought Moses 9 signs clear, but our sons of Israel, behold, came to them, but said to him, Pharaoh, surely I, to my surely thinking you, O Moses, to be mystified. He said, already you know, not sends down these except Lord of the heavens and the earth, sights. And surely I, to my surely thinking you, O Pharaoh, to be destroyed. But intended that he take them away from the earth, so we drowned him and those with him altogether. And we said from after him to sons of Israel, establish the earth. But when comes promise the other, we will come with you together. And with the truth we send it down, and with the truth comes down. And not we sent you except informer and warner. So this is what's happening today. The sons of Israel have come together again all over the earth, and they are high in the earth, and they are warring in the earth today. So it's happening. The second promise is here. The first promise was after Joseph when they were destroyed, and Moses came to save them with the command of God. And now this is happening again. Let's see what happens this time. They will be destroyed. There's absolutely no doubt in that. It's just what's going to happen in and around that time that remains to be seen. So the next place this is talked about is in chapter 20. Go to verse 77. Okay, and already we inspired to Moses that travel with my servants, but strike to them a tract in the sea dry. Don't you fear overtaking, and don't you be afraid. But followed them Pharaoh with his forces, but covered them from the water. What covered them? And made astray Pharaoh his people, and not guided. So this is what happened there. And then God says to the sons of Israel, O sons of Israel, have we saved you from your enemy? And we promised you side of the mount of the faith, and we sent down over you the manna and the salva. Eat from goods of what we sustain you, and don't you transgress in it. But it will be allowed over you my anger, and any it allowed over him my anger, but has gone. And surely I to be forgiving to any who turns and believes and does righteousness, then guided. So now this is what he said to the sons of Israel after. I mean, this is probably at the time when they were in Jerusalem, right, way beyond what has happened here. And there's a lot of stuff that happens between the Pharaoh being destroyed and his forces and them coming to Jerusalem. The 40 years they traveled in the earth or wandered in the earth because they were disobedient to Moses and God's command, that is going to come later. Yeah. So, so that's what happens here. Now let's go to another aspect of this, chapter 23. So then we sent Moses and his brother Aaron with our signs and authority clear to Pharaoh and his chiefs, but they arrogant and they were people high. So they said, do we believe to two conscious beings, our example, and both their people to us serving? So they falsified them both, but they were from the destroyed. And already we brought Moses the book. Maybe they be guided. So this is another one. What happened around that time and afterwards, the destruction of Pharaoh. So the next place this is talked about, this event is in chapter 26. And we inspired to Moses that travel with my servants, surely you will be followed. But send Pharaoh in the city's gathering, surely these to be a band little, and surely they to us to be furious, and surely we to be altogether warned. So we took them out from gardens and springs, and treasures and stations honored, like that, and we inherited them sons of Israel. But they followed them at daybreak. But when they saw the two gatherings, said companions of Moses, surely we to be overtaken. So they are afraid here when they see those guys coming towards them, following them. They're afraid, but Moses has already been told, don't worry about it. Yeah. He said, this is Moses, like, surely no, surely with me, my Lord, soon he will guide me. So we inspired to Moses that strike with your staff the sea, but opened, but was all separated like the tar, the great. And we made close there the others, and we saved Moses and those with him altogether. Then we drowned the others. Surely in that to be signs, and not are most of them believers, and surely your Lord to be he the mighty, the merciful. So, there again, same story, different angle. And one more place I'm going to tell you about this is in chapter 28. There are other references to this in the Quran, but these are the main ones that give you an overview of what actually happened against what we are told. So, but when came to them Moses with our signs clear, they said, not this except magic made up, and not we heard with this in our fathers the first. And said Moses, my Lord aware with one who comes with the guidance from within him, and one, it be to him end, the home, surely he, not he makes prosperous the wrongdoers. And said Pharaoh, O you, the chiefs, not I taught to you from God other than me, but light to me, O Haman, over the sulfur, but make to me a platform. Maybe I rise to God of Moses, and surely I, to my surely thinking he, from the falsifiers. And arrogant he and his forces in the earth without the truth, and they thought surely they to us, not they returning. So we grabbed him and his forces, but we pushed them in the water. But look how was the end of the wrongdoers. And we made them leaders, they calling to the fire, and day of the standing, not will they be helped. And we followed them in this, the world, cursed, and day of the standing they will be from the despised. And already we brought Moses the book from after what we destroyed the generations, the first, sight to the mankind and guidance and mercy. Maybe they remember. And not you were with side the setting, behold, we decided to Moses the command, and not you were from the witnesses. So, this is telling the messenger that, you weren't there. We're inspiring you all this. You're not making this stuff up. I mean, this is from the Spirit directly to the messenger and to the believers after who believed this book. So, this is how Moses' time was ended on the earth. Yeah, I mean, there's not much to say about it. That's what happened. And, he was destroyed. He went following, saying all sorts of, yeah, we're going to destroy these people. They have no problem. They're little people. They're furious to us. They're acting like they're high over us, things like that. And you see that on the earth today as well. How many people that are talked about in ways to belittle them because apparently they don't have any wealth, any power, any ability, and they're in a tenth or a hundredth of the forces gathered around them. The reality is the forces that are gathered around you are controlled by God as well as the forces that are with God. They are controlled by God as well. So the control mechanism is God. So if He gives power to the rejecting or satanic forces to overcome the forces of the believers, guess what? The believers will lose, and it happens all the time. I mean, it's not like the believers win every battle, every war, everything they try and do. Most of the time, they lose on the earth. They don't win. I mean, when do you see one party winning all the time? It's only the empire that is in place seems to be winning. But even if you look at the empire today, which is run by the United States and their allies, how many wars have they fought, and how many wars have they come out victorious without a doubt, and how many wars do they perpetuate forever just for their own well-being and their own hegemony that they've created on the earth? This is the way of mankind that has passed before. It will never change, and the problem is that when the believers are put in place and the messengers come and the prophets come and they save them and establish them the way they're supposed to live their lives, after a while they turn from that message. The example of Moses, which we'll come to after this crossing of the sea, is they went against Moses after seeing all these signs, the parting of the sea, manna and salva on them, God showing them all sorts of signs. They turn away from the reality and the truth that they've been brought, because the memory of man is extremely short. I mean, he doesn't remember things for a few days. When evil touches the man, he cries out in whichever direction he thinks security will come from. And when the safety security comes to him, he forgets what happened. This is the way of man. Just look at our economic system. They make all sorts of disasters occur, which are all man-made and absolutely false, just to make man fearful that they will not have money anymore, which is a total farce, because money that they create doesn't really exist except in the minds of those that hold it and treat it as if it's God. And that's going to come to haunt them sooner or later. Yeah. So I mean, this is the way of mankind. It will never change. It has never changed. It's not going to change. So look at this. This is the Nile River here, and I believe that they crossed around here somewhere, or even here somewhere. I don't know, but it was this part that he crossed into this wilderness over here, and this area is where they ended up when Moses went up on the mountain for the 40-day, 40-night meeting with God, and the fools behind started serving the calf. So we'll look at some of those aspects next time, and I'll give some other examples of what happened with Moses and the sons of Israel after they were saved from Pharaoh and his chiefs and his people, and they were all drowned, destroyed, and all this area eventually was inherited back to the sons of Israel. Yeah, after Moses, and the story of David and Solomon comes to mind, and they had a huge kingdom. And Solomon had like all sorts of things working for him, including the Satans. And later on, we can look at what happened with Solomon and David. But right now, I'm just going to go next time and look at what happened after they crossed over into, I believe, this area, the so called Sinai Peninsula today, and what happened there. And then eventually they came to Jerusalem, which most people say Moses never entered the Holy Land. That's a lie. Moses most certainly entered the Holy Land, and he established his followers and sons of Israel here from Jerusalem and all the land that is around Jerusalem, written to the sons of Israel after Jacob, who is Israel. So I'll talk about what happened there next time, and then I probably will finish it off with that as far as Moses is concerned. And then we'll see where we'll go from there if wishes God. So till then, peace.